at least from 1935, 36 for sure, that things were moving in the wrong direction. And today, when you talk with people, there is this sense, or there is something in the air, that something has been going on more or less since 2007 and 8. It started with the Munich conference, during which Putin famously stated that this unipolar world order is coming to an end. Multipolarity is about to become a fact, that American universalism and exceptionalism are a threat to world stability, that they have to be countered, that Russia will no longer be cowed. Just a year later, the war in Georgia started, which was intense but very short-lived. It was a couple of days. The French were there very, very quickly, with Sarkozy traveling and trying to calm down the situation. And in the end, just a couple of months after the war, we have the famous reset with Hillary Clinton, at that time Secretary of State, or in Europe we would say Minister of Foreign Affairs, maybe not on the British Isles, but she was responsible for foreign policy. And there is the famous meeting between her and Lavrov, where she's pressing that famous reset button, which was actually somebody at the State Department had translated it incorrectly, and instead of reset, it said in Russian, I'm not sure exactly what, but if my memory doesn't fail me, it was something of the form of escalation or problem, or certainly something negative. And you could say that that was maybe an omen for what was to come. This reset wouldn't last very long. By 2014, and with the annexation of Crimea, this was something that shattered illusions. Maybe not everywhere in Europe, but definitely in large parts of it. This was the first time that, because we had wars in other occasions. We had, for example, the war in Iraq in 2003. We had the invasion of Afghanistan. We had Iran-Iraq war in the 80s. But these were not wars that there was a lasting annexation of territory. This was the first time that a large state that mattered on the international scene went into another country and went for a pure land grab, and wasn't even trying to hide it by creating some fake republic or some other solution that would have at least given some plausible deniability. Russia did what they did. Vladimir Putin sat down in the Kremlin a few weeks later and ceremoniously signed the document that meant that Crimea was now annexed into the Russian Federation. In countries such as Poland, Finland, Estonia, Romania, and many other in the region, from then on, they knew that further escalation was to be expected. And unfortunately, there were some forces in Europe that led to various deals with Russia in those years. We had the Minsk I treaty, the Minsk II agreement, which were an attempt by France and Germany, because these were the only countries to be involved in that. The Americans stayed away, the British were not included in that process. It was a Franco-British endeavor. They at least claimed, I'm not sure that they actually thought it themselves, but maybe it's likely that they wanted to buy themselves a little bit more time, buy a little bit more of gas through Nord Stream 2, which had been finished after the Crimean invasion. Or well, Nord Stream 2 technically was supposed to, the gas was supposed to start flowing just in the days leading up to the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. It was Nord Stream 1 that had just been finished after the annexation of Crimea, and the decision to build Nord Stream 2 was taken after Crimea. So this was this was something also that the countries in this Central Eastern European part of Europe felt that our concerns aren't really taken into account further west. And now, when we speak to people, it feels also like 2020 was something that shattered many illusions. Initially, naturally, COVID has nothing to do with war or anything like that, but there was this shockwave somehow that it took people out of their comfort zone. They felt that the world had become a more dangerous place. We saw that shelves were becoming empty in stores in the first few...
Panic buying, yes.
Yes. Then we had that huge container ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal and showed that world trade is not to be taken for granted, and that these systems are very complex, and once they break down with supply chains also affected from COVID, that in general people started fearing more and more.
Adam, as usual, the clock in the corner of the room, notwithstanding this exciting discussion, is blinking at me, so we must call a pause there, but fear not, we'll pick it up next time. Alas, yet again, time has caught up with us, but don't worry, we'll continue the story next time on Poland Daily History, when we hope you'll join us. In the meantime, thank you for watching.